Should I go ahead and start, or are you going to go live?
1 second, let me, I'm going live on Facebook, not online, legal services. All right, just give it about 5 seconds to load. 10. Okay.
Well, thank you for joining us. In today's webinar, we're going to go over a topic that we often get asked questions about, which is micro entity status. So a lot of the people that call us, or a lot of our clients, can qualify for reduced fees that you pay to the Patent and Trademark Office. The Patent and Trademark Office has basically 3 levels of fees. The first level is undiscounted, which is typically for companies that have 500 or more employees. The second level, which is a reduced fee by 50%, is called a small entity discount, which is for companies that have less than 500 employees. And of course, the discount below that, which is again is another 50% off the small entity, is called micro entity status. So how do you qualify for a micro entity status? There are specific rules that you have to be aware of, and there's specific rules that you have to follow. And there are certain statements that you have to file. Now, your attorney can help you do that. And if you're doing this on your own, then you can follow through with that information. So I'm going to put up on the screen here real quickly, what is the definition of a micro entity status? So if you look carefully, this is the USPTO website. So you go to uspto.gov/patents/laws/microentity status. Just to make it clear for everyone, how do you get here? What you can do is just go to uspto.gov, and you'll come to this page. And then right here, you can search for micro entity status. So you just type in micro entity, do a search, and you'll come to this page. And basically, if you click on the first thing that appears in the list of links, it'll take you to the page I was on. So here it is right here, micro entity status. It has a 75% reduction on most patent fees. There are some fees that are not reduced, but for the most part, it's about a 75% reduction. And how you qualify, it's predominantly based on gross income. So if your annual gross income, as you reported on your taxes, is under $202,563, then you qualify as a micro entity status. Now, in order to do that, you have to file the right form. Another way to qualify for microentity status, as it notes here, is that you're an institution of higher education. And so the rules are here. And let's just real quickly take a look at the form that you fill out. You can click on here and it takes you to the form, or alternatively, you can go to the forms page and it's right here again. So for now, let me just go to this page and click on the form and bring it up for you. Oh, gave me an error, page not found. Well, that's okay. We'll go this way. And here it is, the micro entity status form, gross income based or higher education based. So for most people, it's going to be gross income based. So you click on that and then it'll bring up the form. Hopefully it won't give us an error. Actually, the form will come up. There it is right there. If you have not yet filed your patent application, you won't have a patent application number, so you leave it blank. Of course, the name of the inventor, that would be the first name inventor. So if you have one inventor, it's just that one name. If you have 3 or 4 inventors, it's just the first name inventor. And then right here, you put the title of the invention. You won't have these two. So you don't need to worry about it. However, if you don't file your microentity statement at the very beginning, you will pay the higher fees, but you can come back and file this microentity statement, at which time you will have an application serial number and you can claim your microentity status at a later point in time. Here it again defines what the requirements are based on gross income. Down here, you can sign the form yourself, and there's an electronic way of signing the form, which is basically a /, type your name and your last name, and then a \. And then right here, you type your full names. And of course, that's your signature right there. Right here, you type your full name, you put the date, your phone number, and a registration number is for an attorney. So I myself would put my registration number there. But if you're filing this as an individual inventor, then you don't need to worry about the registration number. So you fill these two sections out, and then you present this form along with the application when you go and get ready to file. This next page is just instructions, so you don't need to worry about it. It's mainly the first page that you got to prepare and finalize and file. Keep in mind that when you file the microentity statement, you have to be vigilant about it in case your microentity statement changes. By that, I mean, let's say your income goes above the 202,000. So let's say you happen to make 210,000. Then in that year, if you take any action on the case, you have to update your entity status from microentity to small entity. You don't need to pay any additional fees based on what you did in the past, but anything new that you have to pay fees on, then you have to pay on based on the current status that you have, which will probably be small entity. Just to give you a little perspective as to what the fees are, I'm going to go to, again, the uspto.gov page. You can see that right here. I'm going to put it up on the screen. Give me 1 second. Here is the page that you would go to. Again, this drop-down menu, find it fast. It has all these different things related to patent on this side and various different things related to trademarks on this side. You want to go to the bottom here where it says fee and payment. And basically, you're going to look at the list of patent current fees for patents, the other ones for trademarks. And all the fees will be listed here. And if you look here, there's 3 columns of fees for everything. So here it is, the type of thing that you're paying the fee for. And here are the 3 columns. And if you look, the fees get reduced each by 50%. So it's for an undiscounted fee, it's $320 for a basic filing fee. For a small entity, it's $160. And for a micro entity, it's $80. And remember, the basic filing fee is one of the 3 fees you have to pay. So you have to pay the filing fee. You have to pay the search fee. I apologize for that. You have to pay the search fee, and then you also have to pay the examination fee. And those fees are all listed here. And when you go to file your application, you will be paying those various fees. Just remember that it's this fee that you pay as a micro entity. And by the way, when you go to file an application, you have to select one of these 3 categories so the system knows how to calculate your fees. In other words, if you don't do anything and you enter the filing process on the system, which we have videos that explain how to file a patent application, it automatically assumes you're undiscounted. If you don't select small entity or micro entity, which is the case we're talking about, then it will calculate all your fees based on this first column. You must select the micro entity tab at the top to tell it to calculate all the fees based on micro entity. And again, most of the fees are discounted, as you can see here, but there are some fees that will not be discounted. So for example, if you look down here, non-electronic filing fee. It's $400 for large, $200 for small, and it's the same fee for micro entity. So in some instances, the fees are not discounted any further than a small entity fee. In other instances, they are significantly discounted. So there's a way to have some cost savings there. We have videos that also explain some of the other details, and here are some of the other fees that you have to take into consideration. So the examination fee is one of the other fees you pay up front, and that's a $200 fee for a micro entity status. That basically sums it up in terms of what a micro entity is and how you qualify for it. So in summary, let me state this. A micro entity status can be obtained based on your income or whether you're an educational institution. For most of you, it's going to be income based. Your income has to be under $202,563. Then you would file the certification statement that basically says that you meet the microentity status requirements. You sign it at the bottom and you submit that form along with your application that you're filing. Again, we have videos that describe what you need to do to file an application. But for the most part, those are the requirements. Indicate that you're meeting the requirement by filing the form, and then make sure that when you go to file things that you click on the correct entity status filing, so that you are filing microentity by selecting the right tab. And again, we have videos that explain how to do that, and you can go take a look at those things. That's it. I don't think we have many questions. Nicole, are there any questions that we need to address?
Somebody's asking if they need if they can have somebody do this on their behalf that's not a patent attorney. Is that like an assistant or somebody that works for them?
The answer to that question is technically no, because that form has to either be signed by an attorney authorized to represent you or by the inventor. So if you have, a spouse or a child or an uncle who's willing to do this for you, technically they can't sign the form. Now, if you sign the form, they can go ahead and file it for you. But again, they would be filing it for you as you, not as them representing you. So again, remember that anything that they file, they're filing it under your name as if though it was you filing it. So the basic answer to that question is no, you must file everything yourself because you have to sign everything yourself.
Okay, great. And there's one more. If somebody doesn't qualify for microentity status and then does while their income drops, is there a way to reapply, or what would that look like?
Okay, so let's say that today you filed your application and you were more than $202,563 in income. So let's say you had $250,000 in income. Keep in mind that you would be filing as a small entity, not a micro entity. And then let's say your income drops, you change jobs or something happens, and your income drops below that threshold. At that moment, you would file the micro entity statement, and any fees that you have to pay going forward from that point in time, any fees you pay going forward from that moment in time would be under the micro entity status. Just like I mentioned earlier, if you change from being a micro entity to a small entity, in other words, your income goes up, then you would also need to withdraw the microentity statement status and file everything as a small entity and pay the appropriate fees. Keep in mind that if you pay the wrong fee and it's later discovered that you deliberately paid the wrong fee, or you misled the patent office, or you tried to somehow game the system, then at that point in time, your patent can be considered invalid and you will not be granted a patent, or if it was granted, it can be taken away from you. So it's really important that you pay the correct amount of fee based on whether you're an undiscounted small entity or a micro entity. No other questions?
That'll do it.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us. Again, Dana Legal Services, reach out to us if you have any questions. Take care.